Hey everyone, welcome to another unboxing slash review Wednesday. Today I'm going to be doing a very quick review on the painting scheme colors for Blood Angels. I decided to keep going with these Space Marine Saturdays and to test out what Citadel recommends with the new paints and see how they turn out on the model. Now, I guess most of you are probably noticing that there's only 5 paints here, and on the Citadel color scheme there's actually 6. After doing the Ultramarine color scheme, I realized that the dry brushing is just really not a very good fit for these Space Marines. They tend to get covered up very quickly by the other paints, so I decided not to pursue it. Plus, the one for this color scheme, which I believe is Kindle Flame, if I got the name correctly, it's actually a really light pink. So I decided just to not go with it. It seemed just not to fit with the Blood Angel color scheme. But without further ado, I'll just go over the steps that I did take for the armor, and then I'll show you the final product of the model. So first I did a base coat using Wildrider Red, which is the new base color. I know that GW claims that it's the replacement for Mechright Red. However, I think it's actually the very good replacement for Blood Red. It seems actually much closer to that than Mechright Red. The next thing I did was do a shading over the entire armor with Carroburg Crimson, the new red shade. It went on very well, I found, and got on all the recesses and gave it some really good shading. It almost turned out almost black in the recesses, as you'll see in just a moment, instead of red, but I think it turned out really nicely. And then I did 2 layers as recommended by Citadel. If some of you may not know, for every base color that you have, there is actually 2 layer paints that match along exactly with the base. One, of course, is lighter than the other. So the first one of this trio is Evil Sun's Scarlet. So it's named after the orcs, which is pretty cool. I went over most of the areas that I did the wash on afterwards, and then I did a fine highlighting of the edges with Wildrider Red. Now I know that it says it's red, but if you look at the color through this, it's actually almost like an orange. It's a very, very bright red. As I said, it's actually, I think it's closer orange than anything. And then, as with these other color schemes, I find that the key is to tie them all together at the very end using the new glaze products. I found that the blue glaze did a really good job of tying the blues together, and I found that similarly the red glaze, which is Bloodletter, which again almost appears orange once you look at it, it did a good job of tying all the reds together. So without further ado, here's the model that I painted up. So here's the new Blood Angel model. I'll zoom in on it and let it zoom in. So here he is. I think he turned out pretty cool. As you can see here, I really like the way that he turned out, and I'll be making, of course, a tutorial for it on Space Marine Saturday. For the color scheme, I decided to just go with a very simple color scheme, just the reds, the blacks, grays, and then green for the eyes and the leaves on his helmet. If I was to have a little bit more time, I probably would have done just a freehand blood drop on his other shoulder pad here, but I just didn't have much time to paint him up. So yeah, so let's go over him very quickly. So here's, you see from the front. I really like the way, as I said, that the reds turned out. It did produce a very interesting color to me. It does look Blood Angels enough, I think. Sorry, it's having a little problems focusing, so I'll just remove that so you can see better. There we go. So it did turn out, I think a relatively good color for Blood Angels. I know some people like to paint their Blood Angels a little bit more redder or a little bit brighter, but I think it turned out pretty well. And as you can see, the highlights, I did 2 layers of highlights, one of them over most of the armor here, like in the middle of the hands, you can see it, and then I did one over just the edges, which turned out very lightly, and then the Bloodletter really did tie them all together. So here's the side here. You might notice it has a couple particularly bad mold lines. I had these models given to me by a friend to use, and I tried my best to clean them up. However, some of them were just past the point of perfection, if you know what I mean. So here's the back. I went with the same gray symbol on the back for a skull that I did for his the wings on his chest. but I think it turned out really nicely. And as I said, I really like the way that the new color scheme basically emphasizes a bunch of different tones. So your final product will have probably about 4 or 5 different actual shades of red on it. And combined, I think they produce a really nice effect for shading and for the light and edge highlighting. It just turns out really nicely, I feel. And here he is from the other side. Yeah, it turned out really nicely. You can see from this angle a little better the edge highlighting along the armor shoulder pad here. But it turned out nicely, I think, in my opinion. And here he is once again from the front. So that's it. So overall, I actually highly recommend. I really like this new color scheme. The paints, I would not recommend the dry brush. I didn't even use it this time. It just is a very, very bright light pink, so I just decided not to use it. I think it's called Kindle Flame. However, the other ones are great. I really, really love the new glaze products, and as well as the shading, as I said in my reviews. And yeah, I think they're really cool. So I hope you guys liked this quick review of the Blood Angel color scheme and the model showcase at the same time. And there will be, as always, a tutorial on this guy on Saturday. So till next time, thank you to all you guys for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. Please leave comments in the section below if you'd like me to do a specific other color scheme or a specific chapter of Space Marines. Please like and favorite the video. It really does help a lot, and subscribe to my channel if you already haven't done so. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting, everyone.